Hey, this is JC from Danko Jones, and you're listening to Loud TV. We played with the Rolling Stones in 2002 in Toronto at the Palais Royal. And, we were able to talk to Charlie a little briefly. He came on stage and he looked at our amps and he said, "Oh, we used to use those kind of amps in the 70s." And we told him that they were from the 70s, and he was very gracious and super nice. I mean, he had a wonderful career and he leaves a legacy, At the end of the day, it's always good to celebrate someone's life, even though we're all here for a short period of time, and he's left something definitely remarkable. So, everyone is a big fan of the Rolling Stones. If you're not really a big fan of music, right? But I would definitely, the Rolling Stones and the Beatles are the two bands that you that's where you start.
Yeah.
If you don't know those bands, then you don't, then you're not too, then you have to go study them. So.
Yeah. So Danko wrote that you had pushed him to write this new album.
Yes.
Because so was he paralyzed?
I don't think he was more like everybody else. I think you just don't expect something like this to happen, and when you have a genuine fear of getting sick and when you face the unknown, everybody's different, right? So, and for him, he started to really, I could see that, he was worrying so much about keeping up with the news about the COVID and everything, that I thought that as a friend, it would be very helpful for me to actually help him provide a distraction. And it was time for us to continue with making a record. So okay. I thought that, guiding him in that direction would help him. And I think it did. It was good to kind of, make him less worried about the situation. He was still worried, but it did give him some purpose and some time well spent away from worrying. But, at the end of the day, you can't not help but worry. And everybody was affected by this situation and is affected by it. So it's a definite new place to be. And we all deal with things differently. So
would you say that you put more details into this album?
I think we had a bit. It was done because it was done on the computer, where we would be sending files over the internet to each other. We were able to listen to stuff more and live with it a little longer and hear things more clear than in the past, where we would be doing some live off the floor takes and they would probably sounded a little bit more messy. So it kind of gave a little more clarity to the demos and a little bit more experimenting with the demos. So it was, it was a different process, but obviously we've been making records for such a long time, and it's just another way to approach the record writing process. We made the songs, and then we had a few days of production, and that was the test to see if when we played them, they would be good. And luckily, they were good. But to answer your question, no, we didn't rehearse because we couldn't. Because back then it was still like we were not allowed to be in a room together and everything. And actually, when we did rehearse, when we did finally get together in our studio, I had to play in a separate room, and then Danko and Rich were in one room that was divided. So we were very conscious of following the health guidelines that were predicated upon us. So I think Danko, with regards to the lyrics, he's taken some inspiration from real life events, and I think that when the listener hears it, they can identify with what we've all gone through collectively as through this pandemic. With this opening track, "I Want Out," I think everybody can feel the same way, that they want out of this situation, and, and then the last song start the show. Yes, let's get back to it. Let's start it. Let's, So that was kind of not per se the message of the album, but it was a sentiment that was carried on, and in the hope that we could all get back to rocking together and continuing doing what we love to do. Because the most, when something, if you quit something and you walk away from it, it's one thing. But when you're told you can't do it anymore, it's very odd. And I think everybody has that feeling. Like during this, it's like, no, you can't go to the concerts, you can't see your family, you can't do this, and that's when you don't know how to deal with certain situations. When we went into the studio, we knew exactly what we were doing, and I think that's a very important thing to do, especially because you don't want to be spending extra time at a studio that costs you thousands of dollars, where you can do everything at home and it doesn't cost you anything, and what you could do. So you just, like I said before, we didn't spend any time on the arrangements or guessing, should the song be faster or slower, should we put something here. Everything was mapped out pretty well before we went into the process.
And the name of this new album is a power trio.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always been a trio, but
I know that.
But definitely now between the three of us with Rich and Danko, it's a definite harmony and a more cohesion. So it is aptly to call the band a power trio now, for sure. And it's a title that during a Rock Supreme, I had during the previous record, I had thrown it out as an idea, and then Rich remembered it for this record, and we're like, yes, that makes total sense. Let's go with that power trio, and it worked out.
And there is a guest, right? Phil Campbell.
We have Phil Campbell. Phil Campbell is from one of our favorite power trios, Motorhead. So he's guesting on the guitar. He's guesting as on a track, and he's playing the solo for it. So we're very fortunate to have him.
So I've read that there are a tour confirmed in Canada first.
Mm-hmm. And then hopefully next year we have some dates as well for Europe that will start in May. And we're all hoping and positive that by then it would be a bit easier to travel. And I think now, even in Canada, they're trying to implement the some sort of official document that will say that you've received the vaccine, that will be recognized in other countries. So that would help with traveling. And fingers crossed we can do it and we can get back to it. We do 2 virtual shows in one day. One of them is for Europe, and then the evening one is a stream for Canada that will have an audience in there. So it's a double shot, so to say. So it would be the record release party.